All right, let's continue because there's a couple of other things that I get to, and I know I've talked for a long time already, but there were some great performances. And by the way, Wednesday's show is going to be great because we had to cut a lot out of this show just to fit everything in. But man, when you've got Bama losing at home, Texas being elite again, and Deion Sanders doing what he's doing, like that's going to lead the week, and it should. Quietly, the team that I think is actually like, okay, USC is damn good. Did anybody watch that Saturday night? They played in that late window, and so I know it's hard on the East Coast, but now they're 3-0. They played in week 0, as you know, and you probably woke up in the morning and you're like, okay, USC beat Stanford 56-10. Yeah, 56-10, excuse me. And you're probably like, yeah, that makes sense. It was more than that. If you didn't see it, it was more than that. If you just take a look at what they're doing on the year, USC is averaging almost 60 points per game this season. They've scored 56 in every single game. They were up 49-3 at half. 49-3 at half. Scratching my head because that's like, I can't even fathom that. This team is averaging 5 points per drive when Caleb Williams is on the field and averaging over 9 yards per play. That's the best in the country. This team is a lot better than last year's team. I see and talk with a lot of USC fans, and they constantly ask me the same question. And it's like, well, are we better than last year? Yep, you sure are. You sure are. I don't know if the offensive line is better, but that's the only area that I would question. That's the only area. Caleb is better than last year because he will stay in the pocket longer, which makes his ability to scramble even more dangerous. And not just scramble. I shouldn't say scramble. Throw on the run. This guy is, as soon as he breaks contain, as soon as he's running around, a big play is going to happen. A big play is going to happen. Caleb is averaging over 300 total yards. He's got 13 total TDs, no turnovers. And they have got some serious speed on this team. If you haven't seen Zachariah Branch play, maybe you're watching on YouTube. YouTube Zachariah Branch after this show. Watch his 2 return touchdowns this season. This guy is an absolute rocket ship. I love watching him play. He's one of the few players, I can remember like Reggie was this way. Percy was this way. It's only been a few. McCaffrey was this way for me a little bit. But it's like as soon as the ball touches their hands, I just start holding my breath. That's what Zachariah Branch does. Like he's so fast. But it's not just that. It's his short area quickness. It's his long straight speed. It's his ability to make defenders miss. It's his decisiveness as a runner and a returner. It's his ability to catch. Like, man, this dude is an elite player. And you give an elite player like that with that skill set to a play caller and a play designer like Lincoln Riley, and the sky's the limit. And then here's the other part, because we can't talk about USC without at least evaluating their defense. Bottom line, USC's defense is better than last year. I have told you, and I will remain consistent, that if USC just plays okay on defense, that they're an elite team, that they can probably win their conference and go to the college football playoff. Guess what? They're playing better than okay on defense. I would venture into the good territory. Have they played anybody that's going to really threaten them? No. Will they eventually? Absolutely. Look at their conference. We've already talked about this. This is the deepest conference in college football. In fact, they're going to have to travel to Boulder, Colorado and deal with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and Xavier Weaver and Dylan Edwards. That's going to be quite the show. Quite the show. But this defense feels better than what they were a year ago. They're more physical up front. They cause more disruption up front, and not just because they're using that movement that Alex Grinch likes to move, They're winning up there, one-on-one battles, just because they're better. And they're not completely reliant on turnovers like they were a year ago in order to get extra possessions. Those are all positives. Those are all positives. Lincoln told me last year, Lincoln Riley, that last year's USC team would be his worst roster that he was going to have at USC. And now watching this team, I believe him, because USC is better than they were a year ago. They are better. They're ahead. And their defense is actually trending towards good. That's scary for the rest of the Pac-12. That should be scary for the rest of the country. Because we know, and we've said this for how many years, basically a decade, if Lincoln Riley's teams ever actually got a good defense, watch out. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.